checks. How do you pay these guys?
Great cash, homie.
Leo the Lions, like now I go by the lineup. And if you can't make your mind up, I know you know where to find us. So don't go by blind luck, you should probably subscribe. Click play, kick back, chill, and watch it all live. And welcome back. I am Leo. This is Leo the Lineup. This is actually recorded on Saturday night in preparation for Sunday's NFL slate on FanDuel and Draftkings. I'm going to keep it going with my top 5 vibe, as my last 2 videos had quarterbacks and running backs. This is going to be mid to lower priced wide receivers that I think are being overlooked. Kind of lets you allocate that salary to running backs like Derrick Henry or Dalvin Cook rather than spending up for the top tier wide receivers. First, just real quick, if you are new, feel free to subscribe. I'm making content on the daily. I am new too, so it helps me greatly. If you're returning, you're the best. I appreciate you. Feel free to hit me with a like. But nonetheless, let's just get into it with my first receiver that's getting overlooked in the mid-price.
On 3rd and goal. 380. Colts trying to add to their lead. Rivers rifles. Touchdown. Hauled in by T.Y. Hilton. And the hot streak continues for Hilton.
T.Y. Hilton, this is a guy I talked about in a video I believe last week. Nonetheless, a guy who's been getting overlooked ever since his dead, dreadful, slow start. Look at the fantasy output. It's just 18, 28, 25, increasing each week. The targets are there. Last 2 weeks, 9 targets a week. He scored a touchdown in 3 straight games, including 2 last week against the Raiders, in that mid-price range where people probably are either looking expensive or super cheap. So, plus not to mention, a lot of people might just be off him because of his horrible start like I alluded to earlier. But nonetheless, mid-price guy, possibly still getting overlooked. Gotta love T.Y. Hilton. This next player has been absolutely lighting it up for a team decimated by injuries, whether it's their quarterback, tight end, fellow wide receivers. Next player I want to talk about is...
3rd down and 7. A little flip here to Aiyuk, the rookie from Arizona State. And he'll bust it inside the 20 and the 10. And look at that! He hurdles his way into the end zone. Touchdown over Marcus Epps. Here is a kid who led the nation.
Brandon Aiyuk, even if it's Nick Mullins throwing him the football, you know they don't have George Kittle. Deebo Samuel's out now. In the last 4 weeks, he's averaging 12 targets a game, 95 yards. He's a little bit more expensive, but with good reason. Look at this fantasy output the last 4 weeks. Right in that mid to a little bit more expensive tier of receiver that might be kind of getting overlooked if people are going super expensive or super cheap. So keep an eye out for Brandon Aiyuk. That volume is ridiculous, and they just don't have anybody else to go to. This next guy threw an absolute dart touchdown pass last week, and I know you're thinking, I thought we were talking about wide receivers. Well, we are, because we're talking about this guy.
GAGE. I mean, watch this seed. It's going to be that deep post action. Right, good little trick off of the run, but you can't throw it better. Matt Ryan and Herbert won't throw a better dime than Russell Gage just put on 1-8.
Who knew Russell Gage had an absolute cannon? However, as a wide receiver the last 2 weeks, he's averaging around 8 receptions a game. He hauled in a touchdown pass 2 weeks ago. He threw a touchdown pass last week, as the video just depicted. We all know Julio Jones is not going to be in the game. What's most attractive to me is that price tag and the matchup against Tampa Bay, which figures to be kind of a possible shootout and aggressive type game. So certainly remember Russell Gage when you're building your lineups. This leads me into another guy who's elevated because his teammate got injured. However, the price looks right, the value looks right. The guy I'm talking about is...
of the 3rd quarter.
Fake to Kamara. Hill sets up, going deep, looking for Sanders. He has got it! Touchdown! The bomb to Emmanuel Sanders, 37 yards.
Emmanuel Sanders. First things first, Michael Thomas got placed on the IR, so Emmanuel Sanders got elevated to the #1 wide receiver role. However, we know with Drew Brees back, he loves to dump it off to Kamara, so Kamara could be their wide receiver #1, even though he is a running back. Nonetheless, He's getting a decent amount of targets the last couple of weeks with Taysom Hill, keep in mind. He's coming off a touchdown game with the price, $4,200, extremely cheap. The game is a shootout type game. KC coming into New Orleans, a good run back off a Pat Mahomes stack. Super dirt cheap, #1 wide receiver, Drew Brees back, Michael Thomas out, Emmanuel Sanders. This last wide receiver who might be getting a little overlooked in the mid-price range, he's probably burned us a few times. He's paid off a couple times. You might know who it is. I'm going back to the well with
3rd and 10. 4 in the pattern for Stafford. Buying time, looking for somebody coming with him. Launching it deep downfield. Jump ball. Oh, man, Marvin Jones, how do you do? Oh, what a play. Wow, 1st and 10 at the 12. That was 58 yards.
That was the rule.
That's right, I'm going to risk getting burned once again. I'm going back to the well with Marvin Jones Jr. We know Kenny Golladay is not going to be there. Marvin Jones has been averaging around 11 targets his last 3 games. He had a dud last week, but he's coming off a 29-point game 2 weeks ago. I like the game script. I like the price. The game script should be in his favor. We figure Tennessee is probably going to be ahead. Derrick Henry's probably going to be running all over the Lions. Tennessee has found themselves in generally higher scoring games for some reason this season, so that also is a nice little positive sign. With Detroit trailing, figured Marvin Jones to get another 11, 12, 13 targets, and I like him this week as an overlooked option. And there you have it, Marvin Jones wrapping up my group of guys kind of in the mid to lower priced wide receiver range who might be getting a little overlooked with people either paying all the way up or going for the super cheap guys. If you found this video informative, cool, beneficial, feel free to hit me with a like, helps me out a lot. If you are new, once again, feel free to subscribe. Until next time guys, peace out.